Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable. My Playmates for the Soul. It is so cool. Friday, when I'm doing my show, I dedicate the whole day to this. And this is I love all the guests that I've had on my show. I have a wonderful relationship with all of them, but I just have to do a couple minute of gratitude to the guest to Tammy that I'm going to bring on. Then I'm going to do the cosmic weather, and then I'm going to bring her on. And I just want to say, I wouldn't be on this network. I thought about this if it weren't for Tammy, because she was invited. She has a plate that's very full, which you'll hear about, and wonderful stuff. She thought, wow, you really liked Dr. Pat when you heard our interview, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a year, a little over a year later, and here I am. So when I think of certain events in my life that have been so significant, like the death of my dog, Dolly, and the attraction of the cats, and the name of my cat Simca, which is about joy. And I just want to say this, Tammy, I'm bring you on. Our relationship, I haven't said this to you before because it didn't dawn on me, but when I was looking at all the charts before the show, you and I, we have the planet of what drives this relationship between you and me in Leo, which is joy. And the north node of our relationship is Leo, which is joy. So I rest my case. What I just want to say about the cosmic weather are just a couple of things, and that is Mercury is in retrograde. The planet of communication appears to go backwards 3 times a year. That is such a rich time. If you're someone who naturally is able to surrender to, what is happening, Mercury retrograde in Cancer is a wonderful time to get back in touch with what your needs are, what makes you feel secure and safe within yourself. Not about the money, not about the house, but how well you're mommying yourself. And so you can have nostalgia, you can have remembering things. All the rewords. I'm reconfiguring and revamping my office. I'm taking down all the old dream boards that don't make sense anymore and putting up my Course in Miracles, all the quotes from the Course. So I want to say that. And the other thing is, since our last show, the planet Jupiter, the planet of growth, wisdom, optimism, expansion, is now in Leo. Was in Cancer since last June, now in Leo. So now the wisdom and the truth is the greater self-expression and the opening of the heart. And with that said, let me bring on my luminous guest in the nest, Tammy. So happy to have you with me today.
Thank you, Lorelei. I'm so excited for this conversation. I love you, and thank you for your kind words.
Well, you're one of those pivotal people in my life. In the various junctures of my life, Tammy's there. And it's very Cancer. It's very much that caring and nurturing side of you. And, the thing, because I'm so passionate about relationships, as you know, over the years, I intuitively understood that I was having a relationship with my animals. And then at all these different times, I would connect with you and share with you what was going on. And then you would give me this perspective, and I would go, oh my God, I get what she's saying. So, there's so much we could talk about. But if you would just, for people that don't know you and don't know who you are, just kind of the short backstory of how you came to do this and this amazing healing opportunity that exists between us and our animals when we're open to it.
Yeah, I'm happy to share that. Well, in a nutshell, I came from, I guess in my 20s and 30s, really, my cats were the only beings that I let in my heart. And people who out there who may have a lot of trauma in their background, they may be able to relate to that. Because for me, I only really realized that in looking back that I only let my animals get close to me because the part of my psyche that realized that people were too scary, people weren't safe, people couldn't be trusted. And so in walked these animals into our lives. And so I went through this huge awakening through four deaths, which started with my mother, and then all three of my animal companions passed within a few months' time. All of my past traumas and memories that I have repressed all came to the surface simultaneously. In addition to having gifts and being able to see energy, it was one of those years. And but what came through that, of course, we look back at those difficult years, and that was 26 years ago. So of course, it's a blip back there now. But through that time, of course, all the beauty and the new chapter of my life, new season of my life, my sacred purpose came through.
Yeah.
And that really started with me receiving an energy healing session. And I had tried so many things through that year to get some relief. And that was, I sat up from that table and went, I don't know what just happened here. I feel so much better and I want to do what you do.
Mm.
And so I went through this journey of really learning how to help people to heal their wounds through clearing our patterns and changing our patterns and shifting our patterns that we adapted for coping. And then I started wondering whether or not it would work on animals as well, and asked some friends if I could work on their animals, and really just adapted what I do with people, what I learned for people on animals. But the fascinating thing that started this current journey is really realizing that when I would tune into an animal and be able to see energetically that it had certain patterning of saying that maybe they have abandonment or betrayal or some type of invasiveness, some type of reactivity, whatever it would be. If I panned to their person, they were the same. They were
Mhm.
the same energetic patterns, and I thought, what are the odds of that? But there is this enmeshment that can happen, and this beautiful energetic language that happens between an animal and their person, especially because we let them in. They're
Yeah.
safe, and so we don't keep the same barriers up, which means that it's a golden opportunity to be able to do some inner growth together, to
Yeah.
partner with them once we're awake to what they're showing us, which
Mhm.
they're always mirroring us all the time. They're always showing us what we've repressed, what we're working on. They show us our beauty, all of these things that if we are awake to it, can help us to partner even more to grow and evolve and heal together in ways that maybe someone doesn't realize that is even a possibility. But for those of us who let animals get
Yeah.
closer to us than people, then of course we're always wanting to grow at a soul level. We're always seeking growth. We can't stop that. I mean, we can try, but we can't. We'll put up barriers to it, but our soul wants to push through any barriers and continue to grow. So in walks these beautiful souls that says, I'll do this with you.
Well,
Let's
it's even, it can
grow.
be as simple as if one of the cats throws up, I thank them for letting me know I've got something to release and get rid of.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of like I don't go to, oh my God, I got to take him to the vet. And,
right.
not to say that I would ignore that, but I get, okay, let me, I don't want to say nip this in the bud, but let me get my part in this quicker rather than later.
Yeah, I love how you've always been so open to realizing the higher purpose of the relationships with animals. You've always been so great about that.
Well, you know what's interesting? When you talk on the Shift Network, and we're going to talk about that, there's amazing opportunities that you've had with them and what you're creating now. But when you shared the story of Yintu, I had totally forgotten that my cat was up in a tree and I couldn't get him down, and I called Tammy. That you let me what you helped me see and what I heard you say, which I didn't remember, he was reflecting initially my helplessness in my life, that he couldn't get down, and I didn't know what to do and I didn't know who to call, and I went into that cancer shadow of helpless. And then when you said, when you get empowered, Lorelei, so will he. And then when I heard you say it on the Shift Network, then I remembered that you had said it. And that's what happened because all of a sudden I had a brand new energy and I look up at him and he just comes down like it was nothing. So the miracles. I mean, Francesca hears it all the time when something happens with the cat. One of them does something, I'll go, well, Tammy would probably say, or let me check with Tammy. So tell us about this opportunity because what I just want to say is you're coming up on, which you and I shared with you on our connection call, this 12-year cycle of expanding your communication from a joy perspective, from a confidence perspective, from a leadership perspective, and and this method of tandem healing of the animal with their person, you are now going to be taking that training, in other words, training people to do what you do, which is a whole brand new thing. So speak to that because that story, I mean, you're really mirroring what many people are going through now. All of a sudden, this old version is going away and people are stepping into more of their authentic purpose. And you're just a beautiful example of that.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I love the story with Yin too. And I just want to reconfirm for people listening. I mean, it was really interesting to hear how you, in that phone call, because you had tried to call all kinds of people and gotten nowhere. And you really were in that place of disempowerment, of
Yes.
not feeling like I can't fix this. And this is what happens a lot of the time. So our animals up, in this case, Yintu was in the tree screaming, going, I can't get down, I can't get down, I can't get down. And you're going, I can't help you, I can't help you, I can't help you, right? And then all of a sudden you got it, you got it, and then you got really empowered and said, no, we can do this. And really spoke to that. Well, a lot of times this is what's happened. Those are the types of things that are happening with our animals. And I learned a lot of the time that when people would call, because most people, not I'm going to say most, a lot of people think if I can just fix the everybody around me, then I'll feel better, right? If I
Whether
can
it's my animal or another person, right?
if it's an animal or a person, but I'll feel better when they feel better, and this is how selfless I am by putting them first. Well, of
Mm,
course, that whole oxygen mask thing doesn't really, this is what's needed, right? So
mhm.
once I learned that when a lot of times people would call me to help in some situation with their animal, and their animal would immediately they would immediately heal. And all of a sudden, the behavior they called about was gone. But then they'd call me 4 days later, 2 weeks later, a month later. Well, yeah, well, they reverted. And now they're doing this again. And I started learning that and started doing case studies
Mm,
when asking for the people that I could, that they would they be able to join their animal in tandem and work on their same stuff together because it's a mirror.
yes.
It's almost always a mirror for the people, at least that reach out to me. And so working in tandem with your animal with greater intentionality to heal what your souls created, the
Yes.
reason you created to come together, to heal together, not just the little quick fixes, but the deeper work. And that's what I started doing maybe 15, 16 years ago, of doing these tandem healing case studies, and then to kind of created a method out of that. So yes, that's what I'm doing now, is that I'm taking that out in the world through the Chef Network, but a practitioner training to teach others how to do this, because I think the world is ready for it now.
Yeah.
It was like an anomaly, or it was kind of a just people would go, what? What is this going on? But I think now,
Yes.
moving into a time, like you said, of expansion, where people are ready for the next level
Yeah.
of healing. And can we intentionally join in with our animals that we have partnered with at a soul
Yes.
level to heal what we came together to heal?
And I just want to affirm, validate, confirm the things that you're saying. They so reflect certain aspects of your chart. Number one, Jupiter in your chart is in Scorpio. Well, that's about healing and transformation. And your Aquarius moon, which is the what? What's she doing now? I mean, as you know, you're supposed to be a trailblazer. You're supposed to be, well, because that's the outside the box of Aquarius. It's like, which is so. uh, uh, different than Cancer. But the beauty is it's all part of your beautiful, the beautiful characters that are you. Well, that moon in Aquarius, because I just checked it earlier, it's in the Scorpio house. Remember, I said on our connection call, it's either in the Libra house or the Scorpio house, relationships, collaborations, but it's in the Scorpio house, and you've got Jupiter in Scorpio. So the fact that the work that most, I don't want to say most, but that so impassions you, one of the things is the deep healing and transformation. What you just said, it so shows up. See, this is what delights me. It's like to be able to share that with you, to say, my God, look at what you're doing exactly what the wiring is that you chose to come in with, one expression of it. And so now stepping into this whole new arena of training the people, it's kind of like, because how many sessions can you do? Right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is that way. I'm excited. It took me a minute before, or two, or 1,000 or more, to really get to the point where I was ready to do that and embrace that next level of really supervising people on how to do this method and allowing it to get out there uh, in a much broader way than what I ever could on my own.
So what do you think shifted for you? Now, I could say Jupiter in Cancer the whole last year, like I would for other cancers, like David, my friend, and Francesca. But what do you think shifted in you, where all of a sudden what you're talking about is something you've never done, and you're facing it with a different energy than you might have in the past?
Well, I'm laughing because so much of my life, for what I've embraced and what I do, comes to me. I don't go seeking it. And for years, people have been saying, "When are you going to teach what you do?" and put me on the list. And I would compile a list, and it just seemed overwhelming to me to put it all together. And I would research things, and then they didn't come together. And so it's something that I've kind of been wanting to do for a long time, but I had other projects, or I had something, it just went on the back burner for whatever reason. And I'm sure there were lots of unconscious levels to this as to why I didn't. But then the Shift Network asked if I would like to do a practitioner training to teach it. And here, all of a sudden, the support, the partnership of it dropped on my lap. And I couldn't ignore that.
Yeah.
And I was still scared, am still scared, but I know I'm excited. I'm excited about it now because I think my intention is to move through and align with allowing through as many practitioners, that have a lot of integrity, that can really take this work and move it out there in the world in a way that will help who knows how many people. That's my hope
Yeah.
in stepping into it. So yes, I think I'm human too. So every step along this journey over the past, really, since February, since they said let's do this and we signed the contract, and then we're moving forward, and they do such a great job of marketing and things that I'm not great at. So
Yeah.
so I always trust that when the universe brings it to me in that manner, and it's something I've kind of been wanting to do, that okay, well, regardless of any fears, let me take those by the hand and just simultaneously be doing my inner work and aligning such that by the time this unfolds, that it calls in the right people,
Yeah.
that it reaches, that it's a tool that can really benefit people and animals, as many as possible. I have to stay in alignment. For me, I have to stay in alignment with that, or it doesn't come together very well for me. I
Yeah.
have to
Well,
focus on who can benefit.
yes, and you and I talked about this on our connection call. One of the unconscious expressions of Cancer energy, and anybody could experience this, is the challenge to receive, because Cancer is such a giving, energy. So, to me, you've moved through that, and any of the Scorpio, because one of the expressions of Scorpio energy, and I certainly will cop to it for myself. I have two planets in Scorpio, can be withholding, like withholding from myself, withholding from others, like in my case, withholding joy from myself, and or whatever. So what I love for you, just on the pure mundane level, 3D level, is having Jupiter in Scorpio and your moon in the Scorpio house. That means that as you've moved through those old constructs, you'll allow abundance like crazy, because it will be benefiting from the resources of others. That's what Scorpio is about. Scorpio is about other people's resources, other people's talents, other people's money, whatever. So it's like stepping into a whole new expression of that for yourself.
Wow.
Does that make
Well,
sense?
yeah, I mean that's beautiful. I mean it is interesting. I mean, as soon as I signed the contract, all of a sudden I had been living in a home that I wasn't really happy in and couldn't see my way out. And the universe immediately, all of a sudden, I found out I had to move within weeks. And then I went to a better home than what I ever thought was possible. I absolutely love it here. Never thought that it would have been possible. Couldn't have done it on my own. And again, I feel like, and then I won money at Unity, right? There, for the
Yeah,
first
you won the
ever,
500 bucks.
I I decided to buy a ticket, a lot, or it's not a lottery. What are they? What
A
were they?
raffle. It was a
Raffle,
raffle.
yeah, the raffle tickets, and on a fluke. And then I get all my text light up. You were one of them that said you won the grand prize. I'm like, what? And so to me, these were all confirmations that things were headed in the right direction, despite my fears. And I really, that would be good for listeners to hear because I'm not fearless. I'm
Yeah.
far from fearless, but I have a really strong belief that good stuff gets through my fears to me. That I
Yes.
don't have to be concerned about having fears because good stuff still comes
I
through.
love that. Now that's a beautiful reframe, what you just said. That's a beautiful Mercury retrograde. Like, despite that, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not a double Cancer, but I'm Cancer rising. So it's like I get it. So we have just a few minutes left. What would you say, Tammy, to anyone who has an animal who um, may have never heard this message before, but maybe intuitively they get it? Like, what can they pay attention to in order to open up a greater opportunity to experience their animal?
Right. So, what you want to do is you want to begin with your intention to look at your animal from a higher perspective, their actions, their behaviors, their physical issues, even. That doesn't mean don't take care of their physical issues if there's an emergency, if there's something that needs to happen, but having an intention to get to the higher perspective, to look at them differently, and maybe connect with them soul to soul. And you do that from the heart cord that connects you through love. So so when you have a question about your animal, drop to your heart and just close your eyes and imagine this beautiful golden cord of light to their heart and just feel the love between the two of you. Because once you start streaming and connecting with just the love between you, despite what their behavior is, despite what's going on that's making you crazy or that you don't understand, then everything is going to be clearer. And the more that you stay in that higher vibration with your relationship with your animals, the easier things are going to be. And then you'll start recognizing more when they are mirroring you, when they are doing something and like what you said earlier, and you think, wait a minute, what's this about me? What can I get from this? That's about me. And usually they're mirroring a lot of the times they are showing you what you're repressing more than what's up for you. So if you
Interesting.
see whatever you see in your animal, say, or I'll use your words. If you spot it, you got it. So if you're spotting something in particular with your animals, like you look at them and say, oh, they're so stubborn, or they won't listen, or whatever it would be that you're seeing in your animal, you've got that too. And of course, that goes with your golden light. A lot of times animals will hold your golden best self, just hoping that you're going to look in the mirror and see yourself the way they do.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Luna, our youngest now, who's just turned a year in May, the two of the things that I've seen in her, she's a Gemini, so she's incredibly curious, but she has two planets in Aries, courage and confidence. Like Francesca and I'll go, God, look at her. She just jumps on Simca's back, or she just like with all caution to the wind. And I'm saying, you know what, Francesca? She's mirroring us because both of us are stepping into new expressions of ourselves. So I mean, I've always loved the message. I mean, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited for the world to be able to experience because you will be training people to do what you know how to do. That's so huge on so many levels, Tammy. I mean, and I know you know that, but when I think of it astrologically, for you, Jupiter is coming to your planet of communication 3 times, in the next year. Then Jupiter comes to your planet of relationships, creativity, money, passion, desire. It's like you're the trajectory that you're on. I'm just affirming that from an astrological perspective. It's like the perfect cycles are going on for what you're doing. For that kind of cosmic ride. Just like, okay, I'm on the carpet. I'm just the angels are picking me up under the wing, under my arms.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Jupiter. And that's great. And it makes sense. I mean, every time I talk to you about what my planets are doing, it always is in alignment with what's happening in my world. So that's always nice for you to reflect that back to me in that way. So thank you.
So, what would you like to say to anyone who would love to know more about what you're doing with the Shift Network? Where they can find out more about this training that you're beginning on August 5th, correct?
Yes, yes, that's the first day of it. We have a live Q&A Zoom on July 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern. But you go on my website, tammybillups.com, and you'll see everything there under the events, or there's several places on the certification. I'm doing the 18 module course through the Shift Network, but then I'm going to continue for 3 more months for a certification portion through myself. I'll be handling that on my own, and I just can't wait to see what people come through, and how this can foster bigger shifts and change in the world and in the animal kingdom. We'll
Yeah.
see. I'll do my little part.
Well, but yeah, your little part, it is so, I mean, what I see, because like I said, I've had the experience for myself so many times with my animals because of what you embody and what you teach, and knowing that you're going to be teaching people how to facilitate the healing of the animal. I mean, I just think of all the positive energy that's going to bring to the planet. In other words, it is about each of those pairs, but it really is about, since we're all one, it's the healing on the planet. So, and again, it just speaks to what I've always experienced from you. And what I wanted to leave you with, our sun sign together, in other words, in our relationship, because we have a chart of every relationship with anyone, our sun sign is Virgo. And the first thing I thought of when I saw that was the priestess training that we did together,
Oh yeah.
because Virgo is priestess, and we have Leo energy, as I said before. So I just want to thank you for showing up on the planet in the same few decades that have, and for all the beautiful things that you have taught me, that you have modeled, where you have been so supportive and kind, and I know anyone who knows Tammy knows what I'm talking about. So add to your comments in the chat, as they say. We're,
Thank you, Lorelei. I feel the same way about you. It's so interesting. Every word you just said, I look at how much joy you have brought to my life and how much I've learned from you. So just
and you gave me the joy guru. That came from you.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's another thing I wanted to thank you for, my sweet friend. And I love you, and I can't wait for our next interaction. And until then, everybody, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars. Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins, your joy guru. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the second and fourth Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the joy revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.